peer coach for today. I just wanted to let you know peer coaching is a guided form of solving and learning how to cope with your issues. I'm not here to give advice and I'm not here to fix them for you. This is more for you to learn how to deal with your problems. I also have to tell you I'm a mandatory reporter, so you can tell me whatever you want and it's confidential unless you are about to harm yourself or others. And if you're okay with that, we can get started.
Okay. I just really didn't know where else to go about this. I feel like there's absolutely nobody in my life that I can talk to right now. My whole friend group recently got in a big fight over who would be living with who next semester, and my best friend Kathy, who's my roommate right now, won't even talk to me anymore because I said I wanted a room with someone else. I've tried to talk to her, but she won't listen. She just ignores me constantly and leaves the room whenever I get there. She started saying mean things about me to our friends, and now some of them won't talk to me either. All of this is really messing with me. Sometimes I don't come back to the room until really late so I can be sure she's already asleep and I won't have to deal with her. I'm losing so much sleep and it's making my life awful. I just feel like everything is going wrong at once.
Okay, so I'm understanding that you're in a very difficult situation and you're feeling helpless at this point, if I'm correct. I was wanting to know, why is it that you didn't want to room with Kathy?
My friends always do everything that Kathy says. She's really pushy and even a little scary when she doesn't get her way. We've been friends since kindergarten, and I was so excited when we both decided to attend the same college. But ever since we got here, I feel like she's been trying to one-up me. She's always jokingly insulting me around our friends and tells me to stop being such a baby if I say anything about it. We do a lot of the same activities, and I realize that she's always trying to put me down instead of build me up and encourage me to do better. I realize that I just don't want to be dealing with being put down all the time anymore, especially in my own room, and I need my room to be a safe place for me to be. I didn't know that standing up for myself like that would make Kathy so mad.
Okay. Have you stood up to Kathy before this at all?
No, I never have. None of my friends ever would because she gets so angry and tries to turn everyone against you.
Okay. Has she said anything rude to you to your face, or is it just solely through your friends?
No, it's just through my friends. She won't talk to me to my face at all.
Have you tried talking to her while you're in the room together?
I have, and she just ignores me.
So, how are you feeling when you're in the room? Do you feel nervous? Do you feel like you're in a hostile environment?
Not necessarily hostile. I don't feel unsafe in any way. I just don't feel comfortable, which is something that's really important to me.
How long have you two been friends?
We've been friends ever since kindergarten.
Okay, and through that time period, did Kathy do this to other people and they stood up to her and left her?
Yeah, it's not that many because she's really hard to stand up to because she is so controlling, but every person who's ever stood up to her, they've just stopped being friends.
Okay. How was it at the beginning of this semester when you first started rooming together? Was it less of her being controlling and more of a friendship, or was it always controlling?
It was really good, I think. Like, at the beginning of the semester, we would do everything together. And like I said, like now we're in a lot of the same activities and a lot of the same clubs and stuff like that. So she's a really good friend to me. And it's been really good up until this point, which is part of what makes me so upset about this.
Okay. How have you tried to talk to her, or maybe through someone? Have you tried talking through your friends to her and say for them to mediate the conversation?
I have tried talking to some of my friends about it, but they're just not really willing to talk about it. Like, some of them won't even talk to me because Kathy told them not to, but the ones of them that will talk to me are just kind of like, well, I don't want to get involved because I think that might make Kathy mad, or I just don't want to be a part of the situation.
Okay. Does she still continue to let you hang out with the whole group, or has she alienated you?
No, she's definitely alienated me. Like, I always see them all together, but I'm not invited anymore.
Okay. How are you doing with lack of sleep in school? How's that going?
Yeah, so like I said, I get back to my room every night at like 1 or 2 in the morning because I know that she goes to sleep at like 1, and I don't want to be there when she's still awake because I just can't deal with her like looking at me. But yeah, it's definitely affecting my schoolwork in a really major way. Like I have mostly 8 a.m. classes, especially my 8 a.m. chemistry class, which is like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and like almost every single day I just sleep right through it because I'm like the type of person who needs like a lot of sleep, you know. And it's definitely affecting me. Like one of my friends who's not in that friend group, who's in that class, told me that we have a class next Wednesday, or we have a test next Wednesday, and I haven't studied for it at all, and like I don't know about anything that's on it, and so I just feel like I'm falling really behind because of this.
And when you go through your day, is it that you're constantly nervous about the Kathy situation and you can't think about anything else?
Almost, yeah. Like it's not just my room. Like I'm always scared that I'm gonna see her everywhere because I just don't know what's gonna happen. It's just like that uncertainty of like she won't talk to me. So like, do I have to be the one to do something? You know.
I understand. How about your parents? Have you talked to them about this?
I have talked to my parents about it, but they really like Kathy and they're very supportive of my friendship with her since I have been friends with her since I was in kindergarten. They just think that she's a really good friend to me, but that might just be because she has them fooled too.
Okay. Have you talked to your RA about maybe the roommate conference where you both have to sit down and talk about the problems going on in the room?
No, I haven't talked to my RA about it at all.
Okay.
I feel like if I were to talk to my RA about it, then it would just make Kathy angry. But I know that that might be a good way to fix the problem.
That might be, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you're okay. So with the school thing, I don't want you falling behind in your schoolwork. Is there any place that you can go to sleep at night maybe? Or maybe try to force your presence into the room and let yourself go to sleep earlier so that she doesn't feel like she has all the power?
Yeah, I think that second thing is a really good idea. There's not really anywhere else that I can sleep other than my own room just because all of the people who I would be comfortable spending the night with, she like has isolated me from, and I don't know where else I could sleep besides like my car, you know, which I wouldn't want to do. And I guess that I could just come into the room earlier, but that just seems like a lot easier said than done.
I understand that. How about at night when you do sleep in the room? Do you feel nervous before you go to sleep? Do you feel like at any moment she could get mad and start talking to you about it?
She's usually asleep, and mostly by that point I'm just so tired that like all I can think about is just like, oh, like it's 1 a.m. It's time that I can like actually go to sleep, you know? So usually I'm not that worried. But when I wake up in the morning, I'm always worried that I'm gonna like wake her up when I'm getting ready or something like that. Yeah.
When she gets angry, does she tend to yell and scream and say mean things, or is she just sassy?
No, she's not really either of those. She usually deals with it in like the way that she's dealing with it now. Like she'll just bottle it up and like go through other people and do things like that to like show me that she's mad at me, but she's not very good at like just coming out and saying it.
Okay. And you haven't confronted her completely about it and say, this is what I've heard you saying about me, or have you tried doing that?
I have tried. I mean, not in those words really, but I've been like, hey, like, could we please talk about this?
And she walks away?
Yeah, and she just like looks right in my eyes and walks away.
Okay. My question to you would be, do you want to keep your relationship with Kathy through this, or do you want to move on from her?
I definitely think that's a really hard question and something I've been thinking a lot about lately. And it's so hard to just like look at someone who you've been friends with since you were in kindergarten and just be like, no, like I don't want that person in my life anymore at all. But ultimately I did decide that I don't want to room with her next semester, and I feel like that was a big step for me in sort of like distancing myself from her because I've been best friends with her for so long. So I don't think that I don't want her in my life completely. I'm just thinking that I really want to be able to be myself and make my own decisions.
That's understandable, and you should have the right to make your own decisions. So, for your grades, have you, even though you've lacked sleep and you feel like you haven't studied, have your grades dropped because of this?
My grades have dropped because of it, not to the point where they're not salvageable, but they've dropped a lot. And that's another reason why I'm really scared to talk to my parents about this, is because once I tried to mention to them that my grades were dropping, and they freaked out and shut down and wouldn't talk about the actual situation at all, and like just wanted to talk about my grades. And they were like, you shouldn't be worried about this whole thing with Kathy, like you're not going to college for your friends, you're going to college to like get a degree and to make good grades, and that just like puts the pressure on it even more, you know.
Growing up, did you and your parents have a very comfortable relationship where you could easily tell them what's on your mind?
I think that we did, yeah. It's just that now the stakes are kind of raised because we're also not in the best financial situation. So they know that if I lose my scholarship, like that's very, very not good for us right now. And I think that's sort of shadowing over them being good parents to me.
Okay. And right now, do you feel like you really need them in your life to be there to hear you and hear what you're going through?
Yeah, I do. Like I've always had a really big friend group my entire life, and I've always had really good supportive people around me, and now is like one of the first times when I feel like I don't have like anyone like that because of what Kathy's doing to me, like isolating me from all my friends. And I really feel like I need them to fall back on, and them like not being willing to talk to me about it is really, really hurtful.
Do you have any siblings?
No.
Okay. So your parents right now aren't being a support system for you because they're so worried about your grades, and your friends aren't being a support system for you. Have you tried maybe talking to people in your class who worry about you, who are your friends but not part of that group?
It was sort of like the nature of the friend group where like not that many of us would talk to people from outside of the friend group. Like I have friends outside of the friend group, but not like super, super close friends, you know? And so I guess it's just hard because I didn't like build those people up as a support system. They're just kind of there like in the periphery, but they're not like my close friends who I feel like I can actually like talk about things with.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
Have you maybe considered trying to be closer to them?
I have, and definitely the few times I have talked about this with them has made me feel supported. Like the few people other than that friend group who I can talk to, I've felt like a lot closer with them, but it's just hard to do.
What about your roommates for next year that are part of that group, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Have you talked to them about it, and have they tried to support you in any way?
I mean, obviously they support me not being roommates with Kathy because they're going to be my roommates, you know, and they support me like making whatever decisions I want, but they are still kind of shaky and not completely supportive of me because they think that if I'm making Kathy mad, that I'm doing something wrong.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, so you want to keep the relationship with Kathy, correct? But you don't want to let her cross the boundaries that you want to set up now. And you're also worried about your grades, and your parents are worried about your grades. Would you like some resources in order to help the grades first?
Yes.
So we have the Vulcan Student Help Center for your tutoring. We have free tutoring places on campus. There's things on bulletin boards in your dorms where private tutors are offering help. On BlazerNet, there's a hire a tutor link, and you can find tutors for the specific subjects you want. Your SI leaders are a great source, your TAs. You can always ask them. They're also free, so financial reasons, you don't have to pay for anything. There's the Writing Center if you're having problems with your English class, and that would probably be a good start. Also, sleep is very important, so you want to also put yourself first before how Kathy's feeling, just because you don't want to fail out of your classes. With Kathy, maybe try talking to your RA about it and seeing if they can come in and mediate the conversation since your other friends aren't willing to, and that way she's forced to say what she's thinking, so that maybe when it's out in the open you can feel comfortable in your own room.
Thank you.
No problem.